Structure, let's see what's meant by static members in C++ programming. Coming to the definition of the static data members, static data members are nothing but class members, so which are declared using the static keyword. So there is only one copy of the static data member in the class, even if there are many class objects. So what this statement defines is, so actually the static data member is the property of the class, and it has only one copy maintained by it. So even though there are different number of objects for a particular class, each and every object cannot have a copy or a separate copy of the static data member. So just like a function of a class, only one copy will be maintained, so that can be accessed by the objects of the class. So this is because all the objects share the static data member. All the objects can share the member of the class, but only one copy will be maintained by the class. So the object cannot hold the copy, hold the static, hold a copy of a static data member of its own. So when the data member, static data member is there in the program, so it's always initialized to 0 when the first object is created. So in the example program also we have declared a data member. So once the object is created, it is set to be initialized first, and then for each and every instantiation of an object, the static data member will be getting updated. So the here it is the syntax of a static data member. So we are using the keyword static in front of the data member, and we are specifying the data type. Followed by it, we are writing the data member name. So this is an example program for static data member. Here we have created a program to store the details of a student, like roll number, name, marks, etc. So after storing the data, we are going to display the data that has been received. So for that a C++ program has been written. So here we have used a static data member. As I already said, this static member here is used to count the number of objects that has been created. So as usual, we are writing the header file IO stream. So it contains all the necessary functions required for input and output operations, and string.h. It contains the functions to perform operations on the string, and this using namespace std. And then here we are declaring a class named student. So the class starts here and it ends here. Uh, in that inside the class, we have declared data members like roll number, name, marks, etc. And then along with that, we have declared a static data member object count. So here the data member sections ends, and here the functions are declared. So this is a constructor, since it has same name as that of the class. So this is a constructor functions. So it gets instantiated when the objects are created. So and then this is the second function of the class, get data, and this is the third function of the class. So using this get data function, we are going to receive the students details as input, and using the put data function, we are just going to display the students details. So these two functions are used for input and output operations, and this constructor is used to just count the number of objects that has been created. So let's put it in a simple way. Actually, we have created a class named student, and we have created the format for object when the new object has been created using the class. So once an object is created for the class, so the all the details inside the class will be uh, taken as instance by that particular object. So here, coming to the main function. So let's start from the main function. Here we are just going to create an object named S1. So the syntax for object creation is first we have to write the class name, followed by it we have to mention the object name. So now what happens is, so an object named S1 will be created. Object in the sense, as I already said, it is a memory. So under S1, a copy of a class will be coming. So what are all the things that are inside the class will be coming. So here, uh, that is roll number. For student 1, we are creating a memory for roll number and name, for storing name. So as I said, once the object is created, the class is instantiated into the object. So what are all the details that are inside the class, that will be coming into the object that has been newly created. That is name, marks. So and then this here you have to understand that, so this is the static object. So as I already said, it is the property of the class, so you cannot take a copy, or this object cannot instantiate this particular static data member. So it will be maintained by the class itself. Like other normal data members, this static member cannot be instantiated by the class. So and then for functions, only data members will be taken copy by the objects. So these three functions will be uh, maintained as a single copy. So if these objects wants this function, then it will access this function. So this is the normal memory allocation that has been given for a class data members or class member functions also. So here what happens is, once the object S1 is created, so we know that once the object is created, automatically the constructor of the class runs, or the constructor runs. Uh, Once the constructor runs, its body also the statements in the body gets executed. Here, what is mentioned in the inside the constructor is, we have to increment the object count. So actually we have declared a variable named object count, so which is a static data member. So once the object is created, constructor runs as reflection to that, the static data member gets incremented. So now inside the object count, now it's here, before incrementing here, you have to watch that initially this object count is maintained as 0. So keep this object count variable in a separate space. Actually, so these all the normal data members are getting inside the object. So this, since it cannot go inside the object, it is maintained by the class itself. So once the constructor runs, so this object gets initialized or incremented. One here, before incrementing, it's assigned as 0. So once the first object is created, this object count plus plus gets incremented. So this value of this object variable increments by 1 and becomes 1. So then we are doing as usual operation using the get data. So the first two objects that uses the get data function, and it gets all the details supplied by the user, and it stores in the uh, roll number, name, and that marks. So these are all what all this here, roll number, name, and marks are received as input. So similarly, the second object gets created. So what are all the activities that has been carried out by the first object creation will be uh, will also be done for the second object creation also. Here, as soon as the second object gets created, again the constructor gets executed. So, as once the constructor gets executed, the object count, the value of the object count variable gets incremented. So now it becomes 2. Then we are just getting the data of using this get data and put data. We are just getting the data and display. Similarly, once the third object gets created, so again constructor will be running. So this object counts gets incremented. So it becomes 3. Okay. So for third object, we are getting input and output. And finally, we are just going to display. So as of now, how many objects are created? So to know how many objects are created as of now, so we don't have any special function. So, but we can get this from the object count, because as soon as the object is created, this object count variable is incremented. So the final value that is in the object count variable will taken as the can be taken as the number of objects created. So that's what happens in the output also. So here for the first object, we are just giving, or we are entering marks, etc. And for the uh, as soon as the marks are got using the get data function, the put data function displays the received data. Similarly, for the second object, also the details are received and then displayed. For third object, also details are received and displayed. So finally, here for three objects, data are received and displayed. So we are clear from that. Three objects has been created, so that the object count is maintained in that static variable. So if we display the value in the variable, then we can get the total number of objects created. So for example, if we create another one object, then the object count will be incremented. So from that we can get that that the 4 objects are created. So as I said earlier, there is no any special function to count the number of objects that are all created. So here in this program, we have just coded in such a way that, so once the object is created, the constructor runs, and inside the constructor a static member is accessed, or accessed by the constructor, and that here the static member is object count. So it updates the value in the object count. So from this you can get that static member is not common to an object. It's a member of a class. So any object can access it, but it cannot own the uh, static member of a class. So this you have to get clear at the end of the class. Thank you.